Hey there folks, it's Blue here from Blue Bears Games, and for today's video I will be showing you my newest original custom 60 card kitchen table build that was very recently ordered that I'm calling Chopper Sick Balls. There is a short story as to how this build came about, and a reason for the unusual name that I'll tell you in just a moment, but first let me try and get some bills paid. I'd like to take a moment to ask for your help in supporting my channel, which can be done in the following ways: subscribing to the channel, sharing any of my content on your socials, watching some of my many other videos, purchasing super thanks, purchasing channel memberships, purchasing decks that you may have seen on this channel directly from me on the Blue Bears Games Facebook page, and/or visiting our sponsor at arcane-fortress.com and using discount code BLUEBEAR at checkout if you decide to purchase any of their amazing gaming supplies from them. Anything that you do will help support my channel immensely, and I thank you for it. Now that that is out of the way, let's get to today's video. So like I said, there's a short story for how this deck came to be. Before Christmas, a person who was returning to the game after a 25-year hiatus contacted me about getting multiple commander decks for just after the holidays. I ended up building 3 for him and sent them around mid-January, and before they even arrived, he asked for a 60-card fun deck to just play casually that revolved around a puppies theme. Since the closest thing to puppies in Magic is dogs, I let him know, and he said that was close enough. From there, it was up to me to put together my first dog-themed deck on the agreed-upon budget of $20. The hardest part about this build was coming up with the colors that the deck would be, since dogs exist in all 5 colors as well as artifacts. After looking for synergies amongst the different doggos, I decided on red and white, or Boros colors, with an aggro theme similar to a goblin deck. As for the name that I gave the deck, go watch the movie Stand By Me with Will Wheaton in it. You'll understand the reference quite quickly. Oh, and I also added another aspect to the deck that should help it immensely, but rather than talk about it, why don't I just show you? So to start things off, I'll show you the dogs. The first one is Goldhound. It is a 1-to-cast 1/1 with First Strike and Menace, so it's a little harder to block. And it also is a treasure, so it can be tapped and sacrificed to add a mana of any color if you need it. Got a play set of those in there. The next creature is 1 copy of Isamaru, Hound of the Khanda. It is a 1-to-cast 2/2 legendary dog, and that's it. It's just good because it's a very cheap to cast 2/2. The next creature is called Pack Mastiff. This is a 2-to-cast 2/2. It has an ability that for 1 red and 1 generic mana, each creature that you control named Pack Mastiff gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So if you have multiple Pack Mastiffs on the board, it buffs all of them. And because of that, I put a play set of that in there. The next creature I put 3 of. It's called Pack Leader. It's another 2-to-cast. That's a 2/2, also a dog. But this one is an Anthem creature, so it gives all of your other dogs +1/+1 when it's on the board. And then it has another special ability that says whenever Pack Leader attacks, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn to dogs that you control. So you can attack freely if you have a Pack Leader attacking, because you don't have to worry about combat damage coming into your dogs, so they will survive. And like I said, I've got 3 of them in there. Normally I try to diversify the rares as much as possible, but this was just too important to not have more than 1 of. The 3-drop is called Bolt Hound. It is a 3-to-cast 2/2 with haste, and then it says whenever Bolt Hound attacks, other creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So it's another buff for your dogs. It actually isn't a buff for just dogs, it's a buff for all creatures, but since it's a dog and this is a dog deck, it buffs your dogs. So I got a play set of those. And then the last creature that I added is the 4-drop. It's called Trusty Retriever. This is a 4-to-cast 2/3 dog that when it enters the battlefield, you can choose one of 2 things. You can either put a +1/+1 counter on it, making it a 3/4, or you can return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Doesn't sound like it would be that important, but remember, Goldhound is an artifact creature, so you could return that to your hand, or I have a couple of enchantments that I'm going to show you in just a bit. So this is a play set of 4 of these as well. Next, I'll show you the spells that I included for this deck. We're in red, so what does red do best? Burn. All of the burn spells that I chose to include can either hit a creature in play, a planeswalker, or an opponent because they can hit anything, and I chose what I chose for a reason. The first one is Flame Burst. It's a 2 to cast instant that deals X damage to any target is what it reads now, where X is 2 plus the number of flame bursts in your graveyard. So the first one you cast will do 2 damage. The second one you cast, assuming that nobody's removed your graveyard from play somehow, will do 3. The next one will do 4, and the last one will do 5. So I included that because it steps up its amount of damage for just the same amount of mana cost. So I put 4 of them in there, and then I also put in Kindle, which does exactly the same thing, but with a different name. So Kindle says for 2 mana, as an instant again, Kindle deals to target creature or player, but it's now been changed to any target. An amount of damage equal to 2 plus the number of Kindles in your graveyard. I like the fact that it did 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, so as the game goes on, it does more damage as you use them. And again, it can hit the player as well, so if for some reason the dogs aren't doing it, the burn will. The last spell that I included was Incinerate. It's just a 2 to cast instant that deals a straight 3 damage to any target, and then if a creature is dealt damage this way, it can't be regenerated. Simple as that. Oh, there's a playset of those. The next cards that I'm going to show you are enchantments that I chose for this deck. They're what we call prison enchantments, and what I mean by that is this. Things like Pacifism, a 2 to cast enchantment aura that enchants a creature, and it says the enchanted creature cannot attack or block. Its activated abilities can be used because it doesn't say that they can't on this version, but there are ones that do that. This is for when you can't burn a creature off the board because either it has protection from red, or it just has a bigger toughness than the amount of damage that you can do to it. This is to help to get those out of the way so your dogs can attack freely. So I've got a play set of those. The next card is the same exact thing as Pacifism with one additional ability attached to it. So it's called Compulsory Rest. Again, a 2 to cast enchantment aura that enchants a creature, and that enchanted creature cannot attack or block. But then it has an extra ability on top of that that says enchanted creature has, you can pay 2 and sacrifice this creature to gain 2 life. It's the only difference between that and Pacifism. Again, they're in here because sometimes you can't do enough damage to a creature to get it out of the way, so you just put it in prison. And again, a playset of those. And finally, the last section of cards is going to be the lands. These are really, really simple. It's a playset of Windscarred Crag because they are a red-white dual land. Unfortunately, they come into play tapped, but they do gain you a life when they enter, so it helps keep you alive longer to get what you need to do done. So a play set of those, and then the rest of it's just basic mountains and plains, and it's 8 of each, so this rounds out the deck of 20 lands to 40 cards. And that, my friends, is my newest original custom-ordered 60-card kitchen table build that I'm calling Chopper Sick Balls. Like I said earlier, this deck has a lot of similarities to other aggro decks like Goblins, where you turn dudes sideways and go burr. The addition of some prison effects combined with direct damage should help get these dogs through most defenses. In fishbowl testing, with a nut draw, you can potentially win by turn 4, which isn't bad for a $20 budget deck. I'm not saying that it will happen, but the potential is there, and I hope that the new owner of this deck will tell me if it happens. So what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts about this custom kitchen table build in the comments. Well, my friends, that's all I've got for you this week. Thanks for watching, and if you're looking for more Magic content to watch, please browse through my channel, as I'm sure you'll find more of my videos that you'll enjoy. Before you head off to do whatever though, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, so you can be notified when I release new content, which I do every Friday. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all next week.